Hello, everybody. This is class 3 of Getting Up to Speed training. The first two classes were on visioning, and of course, the second one was on time management. Two very important principles that govern everything else we do. We need to first know, of course, where we want to go. Otherwise, we have no idea where we're going. And the second thing is managing your time to make sure you're efficiently going in that direction. Now, we had you on the time management lay out your week, your proposed week, and put in a lot of activities. And you're going to find over the next, 8 weeks while we go through the class, you're going to be adjusting that weekly schedule all the time because we're going to be talking about other things you should be doing or you maybe didn't think about it when you first allocated your time. So go back. Don't be afraid to go back and refine and refine. That's the process we all go through to make sure we're being the most efficient, redefining what our responsibilities and our goals are, and then moving forward and reallocating our time to make sure we're being the most efficient. Also, on the Equity Agent, San Diego Agent site, I posted an article actually written by a friend of mine, James Keddington, that talks about, do you know what you're selling? I highly recommend you all go and take a look at that. It's going to talk about knowing really what is it you're selling and the value in it, and making sure that your marketing efforts and everything you're doing towards that is reinforcing the message that you're trying to send. So he says it much better than I do. Great guy. I hope you get a chance to read that. Okay, let's start with class number 3. We're talking about lead generation. Now, a lot of times you'll ask a real estate agent, someone will ask you, what do you do for work? And when you're talking to a normal person in the public who could end up being a buyer and seller, you're going to answer you're a real estate agent, or you help, people, buyers and sellers with their real estate needs. You're going to say something of that nature. If I asked you as an agent to an agent, what's your daily business? What do you do? The last thing you should ever say is, I'm in real estate. Because that is not your business. Your business is helping people with their real estate needs. You get paid by helping other people get what they want. So, with that in mind, what is your business? What is your focus? What should you be working on every day? And we call that lead generation. It's really easy to get wrapped up in the fact that I've got a buyer, I've got a seller, I'm working for my buyer, I'm working for my seller, I got it under contract, I got to do all the paperwork for closing, and then you get to the end of closing and you have nothing. Where's my next buyer? Where's my next seller? Oh my gosh, I've got nothing. Why? Because you forgot to be focused every day a little bit, not 24/7, but a little bit each day that you're working. You need to spend some time in what we call lead generation, or generating the next contact. I'm working on a new article which I'll be writing up. It's about sales versus marketing. And sales is a contact sport. You have to be contacting people. Now, it's not a contact sport like football and basketball where, and those other things where you run into one another, but you have to contact people. You have to talk to people. That's lead generation. So we're going to talk about it. Lead generation is only effective when, first and foremost, you're putting the contacts into a database so that you can systematically stay in touch with them. We talked some last week about the database. We're talking now about how do we use it. Okay? You've got to have a database. Every time you make a contact, you have to put them in the database. You're trying to, number 2, feed it daily. Not that it's gosh, I failed today, I didn't add a new name to it, but as you get people, you need to put them in your database. For example, this morning I was at a broker's caravan, and I met a new escrow marketer. Now, she's not going to be a buyer seller, but for me, the broker for the company, I'm always trying to recruit new agents. So Marissa is her name. She's going to get a thank you note today, and she's also going to go into my agent database as someone I want to stay in contact about recruiting agents to my company. Okay. Number three, the reason you put them in a database is that you can communicate with them in a systematic way. If you do not have a system, you will not stay on top of them. You will lose contact with them. You cannot possibly, when you get 100, 200, 300 people in your database, you cannot possibly remember, oh, when did I call them last? Yep. I talked to them about this. You need to have it set up in a system that will automatically remind you and tell you what you need to do next. And then, of course, you service all your leads, buyers and sellers, referrals, anything that comes your way. You service them, all the leads that come your way, and you do it right away, and you do it with a smile. So those are the four laws of lead generation. Let's talk about what you're going to do with your database. Okay, we told you to set up a database, get about 100 names or more. And what you want to do, we've talked about this again, is put them into a prospecting program. Now you can leave them in an Excel spreadsheet and do this, but I'm going to turn on the. You have the screen there. I'm going to turn on a few things here. Here's one program that you can use. It's called ACT. It's the #1 best-selling contact management software. It's not necessarily directly set up for real estate. It's set up for small businesses, all sorts of sales teams, whatever you need to do. I have a number of real estate friends that use this, and they say it works great. If I remember right, they may have changed it since then, but last time I was talking with someone about this, this is you pay for it once a year, you get an update of the software, and you're done. You run your business. Here's one from a company called Top Producer. Top Producer makes the #1 rated contact relationship management software, CRM, for real estate people. It's been widely used. I used it for years. It's a great system. If you've been at other companies, a lot of companies have paid Top Producer to customize the program to fit kind of what they teach as a company. So Top Producer, you can get it as an independent agent with equity, or you can get it, if you're at another company, because we do have a few other people that come in from other companies to watch this training. Thank you very much for doing that. It's a great software program. One that I have shifted over to recently for me is Referral Maker by Brian Buffini. It was written by real estate agents for real estate agents. I've logged into mine. You can say, hi, welcome, Ron. And you can see my front page or my dashboard. It tells me how many calls I've made. As I make them, I log them in, and I have to make 5 today. I have to write 2 notes and pot pies. And it just reminds me of everything I'm supposed to be doing. And so, I can go in here and see. They don't call them contacts. They call them relationships. It talks to me about my marketing, managing my business and everything like that, my calendar. It'll tell me once I talk to somebody, all of these programs, whether it be Top Producer or ACT, or one other one. This is one that's available to you through Equity. It's called, here's the name, Sharper Agent. You can get this one for only $20 a month if you go in through the Equity Elevate page. It's a contact management system. It has campaigns to help you email. It has newsletters for you. You can calendar things. When you do a contact manager, it'll tell you when to come back. Here's one of the things that I've done. Let's see if I think this is the one right here. My holiday one is simply I went in one time. I do it normally at the end of the year, and I put together the next mailings. Now I don't know why there's so many of those ones, but anyways, here's so my next one that's going out is Labor Day. It'll be mailed out. I set it up back in December, and it'll automatically mail it out for me. I don't even have to think about it. Anybody I put into the program mails it out for me, and it's just an email. Columbus Sale Ocean Blue. If you want to see what it looks like, this is what the email is going to look like for people. This particular holiday thing is just a thing. It's just a thing to keep my name in front of people. So I made a big twist on this. In 1492, Columbus sailed the ocean blue, and because he did, banks and post offices are closed. And that's my greeting for that day. try to make it where I'm memorable, but I'm not soliciting business there. This one I set this one out in Groundhog's Day. It just says, just popping in to say hello. So these are things that are in all of these programs. I'm not pushing this one over any other. Again, Sharper agent, if you're an equity agent, they normally charge $40 if you're not an equity agent, or just sign up directly. If you go through equity, you get it for $20. Get rid of that one. Act is a one-time fee. I think it's like in the $350, $400 range. Referral maker is $49 a month. Top producers in that same $49 a month for that system. All great systems. When I was talking with the group before, I said, you know what? You don't have the money to do that. I have a real basic one. I'm going to switch this over to the camera. There you go. So now you can see me. Oh, no, you can't. It would help if I stopped turning it off. So let me just tell you about a program I used a long time ago. And you're seeing that screen. Why are you seeing me? Matt, are you seeing me?
Yes, Ron.
Okay, great. Okay, so anyways, here's what it is. I had this system way before the internet and all these different filing systems. I had on either side of my desk, I had 2 rows that held manila folders. And on one side, on my left side, I had January through December. There was 12 folders. On the right side of my desk, I had 1 through 31. For each contact, I had a piece of paper with their information on it. And I just kept notes on it. And so let's say I talk to you today, Matt, and it's today is the 26th of August. So I pulled out number 26, which is in the front today, pulled it out, and here's your sheet of paper, and I made my notes why I need to call you. I call you, we have our conversation, and I say, okay, call him on September 15th. I then put it back in if it's within the 30 days, I'm just going to put it in the 15th folder, and then on the 15th, when it comes to the 15th again, I get to just open up that folder, there it is. If I said, call him on December 2nd, I'm going to go and put that in the December file on the other side. And then in the first day of December, I walk into my office, I pull everything out of the December file and see when I said on there to call him, and I put them in my daily files over here. And that was it. That was how I stayed on top of things. If I called you today and I needed to call you tomorrow, said call me again tomorrow, I'm just going to move it back to the 27th. That was it. It was simple, and yet it was very effective. So there's all sorts of ways to build your system to handle your database. Okay, so let's go back to the screen now. And so we're talking about that. Let's go back to what we're doing here. So set up your database. One of the things you want to do in any of these is identify them. Most of them will allow you to put in there whether they're a client or a past client, a friend, whether you know them from business or from church or soccer team, however you meet them. And then you want to rank them, A, B, C, D, or 1, 2, 3, 4. The top number, of course, is your highest ranking. These are people that will recommend you no matter what. That doesn't mean you can't stay. You can just ignore them. You need to stay in touch with them a lot because these people who already like you, these are already your best advocates. So you want them to continue to. When anybody says real estate, they go like, "Oh, think of Matt. Oh, think of Ron." Okay. Step 2 is select an action plan. We're going to talk about what an action plan is and what some of them can be. You can do a custom one. You can do whatever you want, but having them in the database and not knowing why or when you're going to do the next thing doesn't help the database. The database will tell you to do whatever you tell the database your plan is. So you've got your people in the database. You've decided what kind of plan you want. Assign the plan to each contact and then work it. It's as simple as that. Work the plan. So now we're going to talk about what are some simple action plans. If anybody's ever spent any time at Keller Williams, they're not the only ones who do this. We did this at another company too, but these guys teach these 3 plans, and I believe in all 3 of these. I've used each of them. A 12 direct is simply 12 direct contacts in a 12-month. Yes, it does look familiar. Matt just said that looks familiar. Yes, it does. 12 direct is simply 12 contacts directly to these people over the next year. So that'd be 1 a month. What's a great application for this? A geographic farm. If you're going to geographically farm an area, you want coming by every 3 months is not enough. You need to make sure that they think and they know that you're the guy who works this area. So you're going to do this once a month. You're going to bring by probably a neighborhood update. That's a great thing to do on a 12 direct. Okay, you're going to walk the street, drop it on the door. If you happen to talk to people, great, but you're getting it on their doorstep every month. 8x8, different program. 8x8 is a program where you're going to make 8 contacts in 8 weeks. 3 times a month, great, that's perfect. So you're more on the 33 touch. An 8x8 is a program where you're hitting each person in that whatever group is assigning the 8x8 1 time a week for 8 weeks. Now that can be a postcard, dropping something on their door, and a phone call. This is not emails, because emails are the old snail mail and they're the old junk mail. They can throw it away. While in the 33 touch we will incorporate emails. The 8x8 is not an email campaign. It is physically something in their hand that they have to pick up and take a look at. This was pioneered by a company called Hobbs Herder back in the late 80s. They for this to test their theory, they actually created a real estate agent. This agent did not exist. They took an attractive man, took a picture of him, gave him this good name, and they mailed out to one neighborhood 8 different postcards over the course of 8 weeks talking about something about real estate. At the 9th week, they hired a phone marketing company to go in and do a survey. And they masked it by asking, who's your favorite dry cleaner and who's your favorite pizza place? And if you had to have your car repaired, where'd you go? If you were to sell your house today, who would you call? 67% of the people responded that they would call that fake agent. Now, that's impressive because remember, no one had ever seen him. They had mailed these to this target neighborhood, but no one had ever met him because he literally did not exist. And yet 67% of the people were thinking this person. Now, combine that with if you're working a neighborhood, and this works particularly good, especially if you have a reasonably sized neighborhood. You can't do this with a 200, 300, 400, home neighborhood. You can do it with a part of a neighborhood. But if you want to quickly get a segment to know you and be captured by you, captivated by you, they're thinking your name. An 8x8 program is the way to go. What is 33 Touch? 33 Touch is a very systematized program that you use with, I say these are your friends, your advocates, your past clients, your mom and dad, your cousins that like you, your brothers and sisters who like you, and you're going to stay in touch with them all the time. 33 touches in 12 months. Now you say, wow, that's a lot of contact. Well, let's break it down. You're going to do a combination of the 12 direct. You're going to mail them something once a month. So out of 33 touches, you've got 12 down. So that's 21 that are left. Okay. And who'd we just have join in with us? Oh, we just had Allison Shapiro. Great. Welcome to the broadcast. She's on as an organizer. Are you doing a broadcast yourself right now, Allison? Hello, Allison. Hello.
Hi, is this Ron?
It is. It is. Who's this?
This is Sabrina. I'm just calling you back from Utah and an equity agent.
Yeah. Can I call you back in about 30 minutes?
Yes. Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Sorry about that. I'll have to edit that out of that video. Someone else logged in to try to do a broadcast while I was doing it. Anyways, so back to you and me, Matt. You know what 33 touches are. It's nothing more than, so we got 12 direct mailings, 12 away from 33 gives us 21 left, right? Now, if I email them something once a month, in addition to the physically mailing them something, that's another 12. So now we're down to 9 contacts left. If I call them 3 or 4 times a year, so once every quarter I call them, now that's down to 6. 5 or 6 times a year I have to stop by and see them. And these are people that you might be seeing anyways. Again, they're your best clients. So then you do something that Brian Buffini calls the pop by. You stop by every now and then and leave a little something for them. You just, have a bunch of them in your car. You stop by and say, hey, was thinking about you. One of the ones he did was he bought at Costco, he would buy the combination mustard, relish, and ketchup. And he'd go by just before the 4th of July and the week before, and he'd stop by a few people's houses, and he had a little postcard that's on there and said, I relish our relationship. I wanted to stop by and catch up. And I forget how he said something about the mustard, but he just tied that in and just dropped it on there. If they were there, talked with them, and if not, he just dropped it on their doorstep. Just something that keeps them thinking about you. All of these things are about keeping people to know your name, keeping you focused on what is that you're doing real estate. Okay, why? Because these people are going to give you 30 to 50% of your future business. It really is. You can make a living on doing nothing more than working with your past clients and your friends and family. And you're not abusing them. You're not taking advantage of them. You're simply staying in contact with them, giving them things of value, helpful things of information, and you're reminding them in a nice way that you're in real estate and you're looking for their help in building your business. Okay? If you're going to do this to start off the very first time, what are you going to do? Yes. First, Matt sent me a message. I just responded yes. Okay, first, friendly call saying hi. Ask them how they're doing. If you are new in the business or just getting back in the business, tell them that you just got your license. Or if you're experienced and they're a past client and you haven't talked to them, just saying you'd like to now stay in contact with them, and just ask them straight out, would it be okay if you sent them some real estate information from time to time? And literally every time I have done this, I have received a yes. I have never had someone say no. They would not want to get something about real estate sent to them. Okay? So at that point, you just make sure you have their mailing and email addresses and thank them for their time. Now, with your sphere of influence, the other thing you're going to do is use social media. Social media is a great tool if it's used correctly, and we're going to try to get more and more training classes on how to use it correctly. If you have a Facebook page, that's great. But you want to have a Facebook business page, and you're going to use that. You use Facebook to do this. Do not use LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a much more professional environment. Do not put your listings, your sales, photos of you closing a deal with your buyer on LinkedIn. Do that all on the Facebook business page. Okay? If you don't have one, you can go onto your regular page and look under on the right-hand side. There's some settings, and you can find it says have another page, and then you name it a business page. For example, I have my me on Facebook, and then I have Equity California Real Estate Pacific Coast as a Facebook page that I post all my business stuff to. What do you do with this? Well, first you get everybody on your normal page to go like your Facebook business page. So now every time you post something there, if they've liked it, you're now going to see what they have posted. The other thing I do is about once or twice a week, I go online and I go to different sources. I go to different business reporting pages and Inman News for real estate and different things. And I find a good article about real estate, and I simply post it on my Facebook page. So they get an article not written by me, so they're not me preaching to them, but I put something useful. Like the last one I did was about why you shouldn't do a rent to own, the perils of it for the buyer / tenant, and how it really works great for landlords and sellers, but it's really bad for tenants and potential buyers. That's a very helpful information written by other people. Now, on my Facebook business page and on my regular Facebook page, I will post if I have a new listing or if I have a new buyer and then I close with them or something like that, to let them to make sure, especially when you haven't been active in the business for a while or you're brand new to it, you're trying to get people to stop thinking of you as how they know you. They know you as Betty, who used to do this. They're not sure you're really doing real estate. I had someone I was talking with this about once, and they said, "Oh, you know what? That's exactly what happened. I had someone call me and said, 'Are you still in real estate?' I said, 'That's because they don't see anything. People only believe what they see. And if they met you while running a karate school, and now you're selling real estate, they still think of you as that karate guy. They don't think of you as the real estate agent. So you have to tell them that you're doing this. No one else is going to promote your business but you. You have to get comfortable patting yourself on the back in a nice, respectable way. Whenever you talk to your sphere of influence, try to send them a little thank you note. I get mine because I'm too lazy to go out and just do it myself. I go out and get mine from Brian Buffini. I'm going to turn back on the screen again. And so here is one of the cards I have used. It's blank inside. And after I talk to somebody, I pull that out and just mail it to them same day. Throw a business card in there. Here's just a generic thank you I picked up. They were blowing these out for like $1 for like 50 of them, or maybe it's $2, and I grabbed them. And when I just want to say thank you to somebody, I just write a little note, drop it in the mail to them. This one says, "There's nothing half so pleasant as coming home again." This is a good one to use with your buyers and sellers or clients. I had some friends that were on a vacation, and I sent them this as they were coming back. So then when they got home, they opened up this, and there was a little note from me inside saying, "Hey, had a great visit. Nice catching up with you. And oh, by the way, if I can ever help you or a friend with real estate, don't hesitate to call." That's about all it is. Personal thank you notes are a lost art. No one writes them anymore. But they're invaluable for building relationships. And what we're really talking about here is relationship building. Your lead generation, the leads that are going to come to you, will come to you because you have built relationships with these people. They trust you. They respect you. They like you. They want to see you do well. You're not going to be able to influence someone who you haven't influenced. Influenced in a positive way, and not because of just your business abilities, but because of who you are. So this is a relationship building business, a contact sport, if you will. All right, let's go back to the main screen here. So prospecting is an ongoing business. It's really just another way of calling it lead generating. We were on third, mail them, thank you note. Yeah, mail them some market data. We talked about that. Fifth, call them again. Call them once a quarter. Your A's and some of your B's you're going to want to call once a quarter. It's as simple as that. And just keep doing this. Let me tell you what my experience with this. I went out and was talking with a guy. I bumped into him about a month ago. We talked about his business. He's doing 75 deals this year. He's on target to do 75 deals this year in a price range of between 600 and $1.5 million, but most of them are in the 6 to 900,000. He's doing really good. And I said, tell me about you, and he works with his wife. So there's two of them. He goes, well, a number of years ago, I used to just be reacting to everything. I didn't have a real set plan. I was just chasing everything. She says, we worked probably 60 to 70 hours a week, and we did about 20 to 24 deals year in and year out, and we're working so hard. He said, I got systemized. I systemized everything we're doing. They got focused. They now work 30 to 40 hours a week, each of them. Very focused on what they do. They know exactly what they're going to be doing each day. The only thing that may vary is, are they showing property today or not? Other than that, they have set times for listings. They have set times for this, doing all their marketing, doing their phone calls. He says that it took it from 24 up to in the mid-30s. The next year, they were up in their mid-40s. They went up to their mid-50s in sales, and now they're going to do 75. And they're working less than they ever have before. Doing the time management and systematizing everything you're doing gives you predictable results. Shooting from the hips and ad-libbing and changing your schedule from day to day and week to week, you're not going to get consistent results. Consistent effort brings long-term, consistent, predictable results. Just remember that. So 6th is just keep doing it. Just keep doing it. It will work. Okay. Prospecting. Another word for lead generation. We talked about that. I just want to say this about it. I put it in this section. I don't know why, but there it is. This lead generation does become difficult to stay focused on, because if you're doing everything, you're going to be busy. And there's going to be a temptation to change something off of your schedule to go do something else. Remember, that's only allowed unless you reschedule the event you're moving. You just can't say, well, I just won't do it this week. So let's say I typically want to do my prospecting between 9 and 11 on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Okay? But I have a buyer that comes in from out of town, and this Friday, they want to start first thing in the morning. So by 9:30, I got to meet him at the first house, and we're going to work all day. That means I can't do my prospecting that day, which means I probably should have moved it to Thursday, because I already got it scheduled for Monday. So I had to move it to Thursday and make sure I did it Thursday morning. And whatever I had scheduled on Thursday morning, I needed to move to Thursday afternoon, so on and so forth. But I can't pass up my prospecting time. This lead generating is an A+ activity. You have to do it. It is critical to your business. If you want to have a consistently flowing business, you must do the time prospecting, or you have downtime. It's as simple as that. Okay, that's everything on that. We're going to talk about a simple way to do prospecting, and that is door knocking. Now, a lot of places nowadays allow no soliciting, or you go to a house that has a no soliciting thing on the door. Respect it. You're not going to win people over by ignoring the first thing they've asked you to do, which is don't knock my door. So it's a little less effective. Gated communities and, obviously apartment buildings are very hard to do because the landlord doesn't want you taking his people out. But there are still a lot of places where you can just walk down the street and knock on doors. So I'm going to give you a simple dialogue. In fact, this dialogue I'm going to give you has been key to my success for years. I use a variation of it. Once you master it, you can change it around a little bit, and you can use this all sorts of times. So you can leave it. You can do it with a door hanger or a business card or anything else. Or when I used to do it, I had nothing in my hands. I had a pen in my pocket and another piece of paper folded up in my other pocket and business cards in my pocket, but I had nothing in my hands. So first thing I would do, I'd knock on their door, take a step back so I'm not crowding the door, not scaring them. My first thing was, hi, my name is, and you give them, of course, your name. Don't give them my name. When do you plan on moving? Now, a lot of people, this kind of takes them back. I'll be honest. This is a very strong question. Notice it's not a, this is an open-ended question, not a closed question. A closed question is one that can be answered yes or no. Do you plan on moving? No. Okay, bye. Okay, when do you plan on moving? So they can't say no. They can say, get off my doorstep, but they can't say no. Most of them say, I don't plan on moving. I follow up with, how long have you lived here? Now that's a much softer question. Most people kind of quickly can say, well, I've lived here 7 years, or I've lived here 24 years, or whatever the answer is. You always, from here on, you always want to give kind of an affirmative response. Good. Oh, let's capitalize that. Did you move from? Or you can say, where did you live before you moved here? Something like that. And they'll say, well, you know, I used to live over in Kalamazoo, Michigan. You know, where did you move from? From Kalamazoo, Michigan. Oh, great. How did you pick this neighborhood? This area or neighborhood, whatever word is the word that you're comfortable with. No, not a zero. Parentheses. Yeah, how did you pick this neighborhood? Okay. And they're going to tell you, well, I picked it because it's closer to my work, you know, this is an area my wife liked, or whatever the answer is. You know, interesting. You know, so you've acknowledged that you've heard them. If you were to ever move, where would you move to? So after they tell you how they pick this area, you go, interesting, great. You know, or you say like, oh yeah, that a lot of people like that area for this, for that. Whatever you do, you acknowledge them. If you were ever to move, where would you move to? Now, isn't this just basically another way of asking what you asked on question number 1? When do you plan on moving? But they said, I don't plan on moving there. It's very interesting how they answered this question. Most people know, I mean, if they're completely content where they're at, their old family's in this area, they're born and raised in this area, they're probably not moving. But everybody else pretty much has an idea of where they'd like to move to. You go, so if you were ever to move, where would you move to? Well, I'd probably move back to Kalamazoo, Missouri. I mean, Kalamazoo, Michigan. And then the next question is, when would that be? Now, don't ask question 6 if they said, I'm never moving, I'm going to die in this house. Asking question number 6 would be a little rude at that point. But get that right. Interesting. So let me run through it straightforward. I'm just going to go right through it. I knock on the door. Hi, my name is Ron Bentley with Equity Real Estate. When do you plan on moving? And the person says, well, I'm not planning on moving. Okay. How long have you lived here? Well, we've lived here about, 8 years. Oh, good. Where did you move from? Well, we used to live up in Ventura County, but my husband got, transferred down here, or my wife got transferred down here, and so we moved here. Great. Well, how did you happen to pick this neighborhood to live in? Well, we drove by, and they were building the models back then, and we liked the floor plan, and we picked one. That's it. That's interesting. If you were ever to move, where would you move to? Oh, you know what? I'd love to go back to Ventura County. Okay. When would that be? Oh, probably in about 2 years when my wife retires. So the first question was, when do you plan on moving? I don't plan on moving. And you found out in question number 6 that they're planning on moving in 2 years. And you found out they're going to move to back to Ventura. Okay, so if, and the big caveat here is if under 2 years. If the time frame is under 2 years, then you say simply, may I contact you when we are closer to that time. That's it. May I contact you when we are closer to that time? Now, they want you off their doorstep. Quite frankly, you want to get off their doorstep, but you do want to get permission to contact them. So this is great. They're going to say, yeah, call me when we're close to that. They're thinking you're going to contact them in 2 years. And you're going to say, great. This is when you pull your pen and your paper out of your pocket and say, let me have your name. And the secret to getting names and phone numbers is look down. Once you have your pen and paper in your hand, look at your piece of paper ready to write. Do not look up and do not make eye contact with them, because they can send you that nonverbal message that says, I'm not going to give you my information. They just realize, when I said, yeah, you can contact me in 2 years from now, that means they just realize that means I got to give you some information now. You look up, they can shut you down. But if you don't look up and you're looking at your paper, they're going to give you their name. Always ask for their phone number. Do not ask for email. If you ask for email, they will never give you their phone number. And emails can be ignored. So, okay, your name is, your phone number, great. Oh, do you like email? Yeah. Now they're hoping you email them. Hey, thank you very much. Don't ask them for the address, because you can always, as you leave the house, look at the house and say, okay, it's 1951. And as you walk down the corner, you can figure out it's State Street or whatever it is. And you can look it up, and don't do that. There you go. You now have a contact that's moving in under 2 years. Now, the reality is on all these things, I found this out by trial and error. If they say they're moving in 2 years, how soon do you think they're actually moving? Okay, we have guesses of 18 months, 6 months. No, they actually move normally in about half the time. Because if once someone starts thinking about doing something, they get on with it. The only time that doesn't happen is if you have like a military transfer. They know they're moving in June of or May of this next year. Trust me, that's when they'll move. But other than that, most people, if they're thinking they're going to move soon, they're going to. If they say they're 2 years, it's going to be a year. If they say it's a year, it's going to be six months. So I always follow up with a thank you note, and then I call them within. How many days do you think I should wait before I call them? Okay, got someone saying 3 months. No, too long. Yeah, 30 days. I call up in 30 days because I don't want them to forget me. So I left their door quickly. I mailed them a thank you. Thank you for talking with me today. I hope you have, I wish you success in your move to Ventura County. And I'm going to, within 30 days, give them a quick call and say, this is Ron Bentley with Equity Real Estate. Hey, we met, about a month or so ago. Thanks for taking the time to talk to me. And I'm just checking in to see if you're still planning on moving. You said that's going to be probably like August of 2018. Is that's still the plan? Yep, great. Okay, I'll call you when we get a little closer to that. Thank you very much. And you hang up. At none of these moments am I trying to go into a listing presentation or a market analysis of their home or anything else. I resist that temptation. I call them again in another 30 days, and the next thing I do is do the same phone call. Just checking to make sure your plans are the same, see if anything has changed. Somewhere in the next 2 to 3 calls, they're going to say, yeah, we're thinking about we're doing this sooner. Oh, great. Well, when would be a good time to talk to you about, a market analysis on your house or something like that? If after 3 or 4 calls their plans still haven't changed, you may want to say like, hey, by the way, do you have information about Ventura or Kalamazoo, Michigan, or wherever you want to move to? Is there something I can do to get you some information about that? Here's a chance to maybe send a referral out for that area. So that's what I do when I'm door knocking. Now, how do I use this in other opportunities? Well, let's go to a variation of this at an open house. So they're walking in the open house. I'm not going to ask them, when do you plan on moving and how long have you lived here? But I may say something like, hi, I'm Ron Bentley with Equity Real Estate. Are you thinking about moving? Okay. Where are you moving from? Get whatever the answer is. What are some of the things you're looking for? But see, it gets me talking with them. The biggest obstacle most real estate agents have is knowing what to say. So you're going to introduce yourself and say, are you thinking about, moving or changing houses or buying a house? Well, of course they are. They're in an open house. But sometimes they're not. Sometimes, no, we're just live down the street and we're just looking to see what this house looks like inside. Great. How long have you lived here? Because they're not planning on moving. So they say, how long have you lived here? Great. Where did you move from? So what's the number one thing that made you pick this area or you like best about this area? Fantastic. Hey, if you were ever to move, where would you move to? Because you know what? They really aren't just looking at the neighbor's house just because they're curious. It's because they're actually thinking that sometimes in the future they're going to be selling and they want to get a feel for the marketplace. So you can see how these 6 questions, you can use them over and over again. Cold call knocking, at an open house. You're talking with a friend. They say, hey, how's the market? You go like, okay, well, are you planning on doing something soon? No. Well, how long have you lived in the area? We've moved here, we moved here way back when. And where did you live before that? Lived over here. There's all sorts of variations you can play with this game, with these 6 questions that just simply work. And the more you practice them, the more they just roll off your tongue and the more natural it is. So let's go to the homework for this week. The homework for this week is real simple. We want you to call maybe 20 people in your sphere of influence somewhere in the next week or the 12 days, okay? Call 20 people. Say hi. Make sure you have their email and the right physical address, and it's okay to send them some stuff. We'll talk about what you send in the future. Okay, mail them a thank you note for taking the time to talk to you within 24 hours. Do 2 hours of door knocking, either for an open house or just because there's an area you want to live in. And I have in here my last thing. The 2 hours of door knocking is so that you memorize these 6 questions. Memorize them and practice them yourself. Give them to yourself in a mirror. Give them to your dog. Give them to your significant other. Give them to a family member. Run through them. Get very practiced with them so that they come off naturally. Biggest way to even better make it be more natural is because you know what the next thing you're going to say is. Hesitate before you say it, as if you're actually thinking about what to say. The more you slow down, the more natural it appears. So, picking an area you want to work. So, in the last time I was teaching this class, someone said, well, I don't know where I want to work. Okay, then work where you live. If you like that neighborhood, work that neighborhood. Hey, I love living here. I don't want to move. Then work your neighborhood. Become the expert in your neighborhood. Half your neighbors already know you. Get to know the other half. Or work the neighborhood where you want to live. I'm living in this neighborhood now, but when I'm really successful, I want to live in that neighborhood. Well, you know what? If you go work that neighborhood now and really work it, do the 12 direct or an 8x8 to get started, then flip over to a 12 direct. If you go work that neighborhood, knock that neighborhood, make sure to go to every garage sale in that neighborhood, do everything you can in that neighborhood, guess what? You'll do enough business that in probably 3 to 4 years, you're living in that neighborhood that you always said you wanted to live in. So that's the question. That's the dialogue I'm going to give you for this week. Master it. Know it. It has so many applications. This is your homework. Call some people. Reconnect. Send the thank you notes. Do some door knocking using these questions. Pick an area that you want to work and start making yourself become the masters of it. Any questions from everybody listening in? Any questions at all? Okay, I don't see any. So thank you all very much for checking in. Next week, Monday, 6 p.m., next broadcast. We look forward to having you there. See you real soon and make it a great week.